Hey friends, welcome to art class. It's me, Mr. Mingoni, and we got a pretty cool lesson for you today. We're going to build a little bit on what we learned last week. Just to review, we learned about value, which is like shading, light and dark, and did a little practice with that. And today, we're going to use those skills to make like a really cool picture. I had a teacher in college who taught me how to do this project that I'm going to show you, and it was a huge thing for me. It really like opened me up to some different ways to use value and shading, and it was good practice, but it also made like a really cool picture, and I think you're gonna like it. It's a good one to kind of get lost in and kind of spend some time to just sort of throw yourself into your art a little bit. So um, I'll make myself pretty small here for now. I'm so tiny. Okay, so our learning targets for today, you're going to fill your page with lines and designs. All right, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you're going to fill the shapes that you make with values. So if you look at these examples here, you can see they drew lines across the page and had some swirly things. And different people do different kinds of designs. This person even did kind of a mandala type design, like a flowery design where you're going around and doing patterns. You can do your design any way you like. It's just whatever kind of art and designs you like to make. But then we fill them in with the values. So the value is, this dark to light shading. So you can see each little spot has a dark part, and if they're shading it getting lighter, even each little individual spot. It takes some time to do, and the more complex your design, the more time it's going to take. But that's okay. I mean, this is a good one to spend some time on. And it's okay to spend a lot of time on your art. So let's get into it. First, fill the page with lines and designs. Alright, let me aim my camera downward here so you can see what I'm drawing. Okay, so, and I have to flip this here. This form. Here we go. Oh, hi. Okay. So here you can see my paper. And what I'm going to be doing is filling the page with lines and designs. So I'm going to be a little bit random with it. Like I'll start from one end and make like kind of a squiggly line over here. Maybe I'll do one from over here. I like to start with some big lines and then do some interesting things from there. And how complex you make it is totally up to you. So that's a good start. And then I'll do some interesting shapes and designs. Like maybe I'll do some cool flower petal designs here. Kind of just go with the flow. Don't think too much about it. Just do whatever you think would be fun. And I would definitely consider this one more like a practice. So don't get too caught up thinking it's got to be perfect or anything, okay? Just go for it. One thing I like to do with these is make these kind of tube shapes, and then I'll put like, if you put kind of like rainbow lines on it like that, you see going down, it makes it look 3D almost. And when you shade it with the value too, you're going to make some cool 3D effects. What you're going to notice with this is that when you start adding value to things, it starts to look weirdly 3D, and it's a good way to experiment with that. Like maybe just put a circle in there and see what happens with that. Maybe put a circle that's like over a different line, right? So just try some different shapes. I'll just do a little bit more, and I'll continue this a little bit more. So let's look at our next learning target. Fill the shapes with values. Okay, so each of these, we drew lines, but the lines kind of made shapes, right? And a value is when you're shading dark to light. So each one of these little shapes is going to have its own value. So like, for instance, I'll start with this flower petal. Just this shape here. I'm going to say the dark value is here. The dark is when you're pressing really hard with your pencil. And our idea is to make it slowly get lighter, right? And you're kind of slowly blending it so that you can't see like a line where it suddenly gets lighter. You want it to be nice and blended. I like to use my finger sometimes to make it look really smooth because I don't mind having messy hands. Some people, like I showed you last time, you can rip off a little piece of paper. I wouldn't say doing it from your drawing like I am. Maybe use a different paper. But you can kind of just bunch it up like this. And we call that a blending stick. And you can use that to blend it as well. Do like little circles, right? And another tip is erasing with this kind of drawing is just as important as drawing. So I can go back and make my light value even lighter, right? So you can kind of draw with your eraser at some point, which is pretty cool. So here I've got this dark to light value going on. And I'm just going to do that over the whole thing. With these little tube shapes, I like to do like dark on both sides, and then slowly getting lighter until the middle is just white. You know, your lightest value should pretty much just be white. Make sure to leave some parts white, because then you get like a contrast. You get this really light and really dark. So, once again, this is just a practice lesson. So just have fun with it. And by the time, if you seriously stick to this and fill up this whole page, you are going to become an expert in doing values. And you are going to be a much better artist because of it. So this is a really good lesson for you. So, I'm going to shrink myself down here again. Alright. And I'll put my picture, I'll put it here. So you can see what I am drawing, and we can draw together. So, I'm going to just put on some nice relaxing music. I'll turn my mic off for a little while so you can focus. Oh, hang on. I just realized. Wow. I just realized that this picture here on the bottom left, do you see the picture in there? That's a fish. You see that? I did not even notice that when I put that up, but it's a little fish. That's amazing. So yeah, like if you want to draw an animal or something and then do this to it as well, that's fine. Feel free to get creative. So anyway, I'm going to turn my mic off so that we can focus and put on some nice music. Alright, let's make some art. Hey friends, I would like to tell you one thing that I forgot to tell you, which is you can use colors for this if you want. Like a colored pencil can do the same exact thing. Markers or crayons is a little harder to do value with, so I would say use some kind of pencil. But if you got colored pencils and you want to try this out, go for it. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I'd like to give you a quick tip as you're working. A lot of times when people start doing this, they think that their values have to be like 100% perfectly smooth. And if that's your style, that's totally fine. But I'm here to tell you they don't have to be totally smooth. Like, for instance, if you look at this one that I just did here, I kind of like the way that looks. It almost has a texture to it. And if you look up close, you can see that you can see the pencil lines. It's a little bit, almost, dare I say, scribbly, right? But it's still a smooth transition from dark to light. And that's what matters, is that it's like smoothly going dark to light. But your pencil line can be a little scratchy or a little scribbly. That's kind of a stylistic thing. Maybe try some different ones out, right? Like, what if I do one that's like all circly, kind of curly shapes? You can even make a value with that. So find your style. Find out what works for you. If you want to get it done a little faster, that's fine. You want to spend 2 hours on it? That's cool too. Okay, we're about like midway through, and this will probably be a good break time if you need. So you can go ahead and stand up, do a little stretch, go get a drink of water, whatever. I am going to give you a few tips real quick though for kind of this midway point. One is I started getting a little overwhelmed looking at this huge space. I'm like, I don't want to color in that whole space. It actually helps to just break it up into smaller shapes, right? Like over here, I'll just draw something like that, and it's like, well, that'll be a little more fun to color than just this huge space. Yeah. I had another tip for you, but I just forgot, and that's okay. So do a little stretch. Do whatever you gotta do, and then you can come on back when you feel ready. Oh, I remember what my other tip was. That is, look at your picture and make sure the dark parts are as dark as you can possibly make it. Kind of a mistake that beginners make is they kind of just do those middle values. It doesn't get super light, it doesn't get super dark. But if you can go back in and like press really hard on the darkest parts, and that's going to make your picture really pop, right? So make sure your darks are dark and make sure your lights are light, and that's going to really help. Do not be afraid to get super, super, super dark with it, okay? All right, we're going to have maybe 10 more minutes or so to work, and when the class is over, you can keep drawing, you know, if you have time. So we'll keep drawing for a little while, and then I'll check back in with you. Okay, everybody. I'm going to wrap up the video lesson here, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop. You can have as much art time as you have time for. Now, obviously, I'm not even close to being finished, and I work I work pretty fast. Like, I'm a fast drawer. A drawer is something you open. I'm a fast artist. Um, and some of you may have even just worked on one little tiny part, and that's okay. Just know that if you can't finish this one, it's really okay. I don't want you to stress about it, feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to finish this? All right. But I would like to encourage you to push yourself to try to finish it. If you actually get through this whole picture, oh, that's my cat. She wants to say hi. Maybe later. But if you actually push yourself and get through this whole picture, it's gonna look so cool. I promise you, it's gonna be rewarding if you take the time to do that. So please try. If you can't finish it, don't sweat it though. That's what I'm saying. And hang on, I gotta flip my picture here. Hang on. There we go. And then I would love to see some of those. If some of you send me like a picture of this, even if it's not finished, I would love to see what you're making. So send them to my email. You can find that on the Riverside webpage. Okay? So you're all awesome. Just keep on making art. I can feel it. If you're doing these lessons, I can tell you're getting better at art. You're probably can feel it too. So that's really exciting. Not only do you have something to kind of fill your time with if you're feeling bored or anxious or anything, but you're making yourself better at something as well, you know? Like, I've probably told you this before, but I really love video games. They're awesome. They really fill my time and make me have a lot of fun. But art is a way to fill your time where you're kind of making yourself a little better as a person as well, which is way cool. So just keep at it, and send me your pictures, all right? Keep being awesome. Take care, everybody.